today here at the Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. I'm so happy to be back with you. I was gone for a couple of weeks. I'm Kim Stanwood, Terranova, and I have two beautiful women with me today. As you see, we have Nina and Felicia, and they are here to share with you all that's occurred for them this week. Or actually, I have to alter that. They're going to share with you in the amount of time we have what has occurred for them this week, because I think a lot has occurred, correct?
Correct.
Indeed.
So ladies, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
So I want to begin. I'll ask you each, how did you get to Rhythmia?
I actually got there with my partner, my boyfriend. He went there last year, and he basically, as soon as he came home, I received an email that you've been booked in for Rhythmia this year.
So he booked you ahead of time.
Immediately, he's like, we're going next year. So we're both here this year, and
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you came. So last time he came alone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're with him this time.
Yeah.
And how was that?
It was amazing. It was such an opportunity. I mean, I would say as a couple, we're very connected and in a very kind of energetic and beautiful way. But it was certainly an opportunity to deepen that even further. And yeah, that was amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Tell him thank you.
Yes, always. I tell them thank you every day.
All right, my dear. How did you find your way here?
I don't even quite know.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to the Michael Beckwith podcast, and Jerry came on and started talking about Rhythmia and his experiences. And I should back up. I was in this funk, right? Like I had everything I thought I wanted, right? I finished building out my business. I have the money in the bank. My family is relatively healthy, but I have just been in this funk of feeling like there has to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really been happy at work. I'm in my 11th year. And so when Jerry came on and was talking, I don't even know why I looked up Rhythmia. I just decided to look it up. And then I was like, oh, interesting. And then I just left it there. And then someone else came on the podcast and talked about Rhythmia. I think it was Jack Canfield, which is crazy.
Yeah, yes.
And so I looked it up again and I was like, And then I've started this spiritual journey where I've been meditating, and it kept coming up. Like it just kept coming up. And I asked my friend to go, and she said I was nuts. And no, we're not doing that, And so I said, okay, I'm not going to do it. But it kept coming up.
Mm.
So then one morning in meditation, I just booked it. I did the whole thing where you talk to the person and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And I did that early with her. And so after we got off the phone, my best friend was like, no, you're crazy. Like, keep your location on if you go. I'm like, just insane. And so one morning I just got up and I emailed the lady back and I said, I'm booking. And she emailed me back like, great. Let me know, my friends, let me know when you guys want to come. And I emailed her back like, no, just me. I'm booking. What's next?
Oh my goodness, I love that. And that's what happens often at Rhythmia is something's pulling you to come. So what I'm hearing you say is that like something pulled you here even when you didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for saying yes.
Totally.
Both of you said yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. All right, what would you say, each of you, was what did you love most this week at Rhythmia? Let's start there. Then you can tell us your miracle. But what did you love most?
For me, I think it was the intentionality of the program. I can be very closed off and I can be a bit skeptical and try to fill things out. I can be judgmental. And I feel like this place doesn't allow you to do any of those things. First off, you dunk us in the water, I feel like, at first.
We just blessed you immediately when you got here.
Here you go.
Yep.
And just the intentionality around the program, the really openness about what you may experience, what you could experience, the food. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I get home. I don't want to have to fend for myself for food anymore. But I think just the intentionality and the fact that I really felt wrapped in love.
Beautiful.
And intention for me to leave here with whatever would be my highest self, whatever would be the blessing that I'm supposed to receive.
Okay, and you're going to tell us about that because I know you got it. Nina, for yourself.
I actually totally agree. I think the fact that it's more than just sitting in the jungle doing ayahuasca.
Yes.
It is a full program with all these workshops to support the experiences you have under the ceremonies. So and make you feel safe and explain that it's like, okay, because it can get a bit wacky sometimes in those ceremonies. Like, oh my God, it's intense. But then there's all these workshops to support that. And so even when it gets super intense, you feel so safe and supported all the way through, which makes it so much more than just ayahuasca.
Well said. And I wish I could tell you how much we appreciate that, because that's our intention. So to know that our intention is fulfilled, I love that it is the intention of the program to support everything you just said. It's not just medicine. It's medicine and the varieties of medicine, and then what we do with the insights that we catch in the medicine.
Well, I was just thinking, I was like because I've been thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to talk to all my friends about this. And I'm like, I really need to emphasize, no, I don't want you to just go to some random ayahuasca ceremony at some house. Like I want, like, this is the program. This is so much more than just the ayahuasca. So it's like, how do I explain this to them? That this is like, no, it's Rhythmia you need to go to. It's not some random ceremonies.
And you just did. It's the entire program that supports the insight. So we don't just catch them somewhere in the jungle. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, you two, tell us about your miracles. We want to hear. Abundant miracles. Nina, you start.
Okay, I'll start. I think for me, it's I mean, we all aware of the three intentions: that whoever I become, and merge me with my soul at all cost, and heal my heart. The first two came relatively easy to me, I would say. I mean, I had like a bunch of new revelations. It was great, and it's like, who have I become? It's like, wow, okay. And the next night, it was merged me with my soul. I had this beautiful experience, like 3-year-old me just lying on my belly, and it's like, oh God, it was amazing. And then the fourth night, nothing. I fully expect to go in. It's like, I'm going to heal my heart tonight. And I was like, nope. It was just a bunch of mumble jumble and purging. And I walked away from that. Oh, God damn it. It's like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't even know what to take away from the ceremony. And then I had the following day, actually, there was a couple of talks, a couple of workshops that really kind of like, redirected me. That directed me. It was like, okay, you need to, when your mind starts talking to you, it's like, this is not working. Why is this not working? It's like, redirect your thoughts, saying this is not conducive to what I'm trying to do. So this constant redirection, and it's like, okay. And then there was another one we talked about being an empath, and it was
Dr.
literally,
Jeff's class.
and it was Dr. Jeff literally described my childhood. I was like, oh. So it's like, okay, I get it. So I walked into the fourth ceremony with those tools, and first half of the ceremony, it was sleeping and purging, sleeping and purging, sleeping and purging. It was probably half the night, and again, I could feel myself. I was like, I'm getting frustrated. It was like, and I walked up to the shaman, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a second cup of ayahuasca. And I drank it. And at first, the shaman actually asked me, how have you been so far? And I explained to him, I've just been sleeping and purging. And he's like, that's good. You're healing. And I drank it. I went back to my bed, and immediately one of the helpers come over. He's like, oh, no. You're going in a healing circle right now. And I'm like, what? Because I'm thinking, oh my God, I just want to lie down right now.
Sure.
So I'm put in the healing circle, and there's this full circle of people. And I realized, I'm last in line. And I'm sitting there, and this ayahuasca is starting to take effect, and I feel sick. I just feel sick. And I'm just like, I grab a bucket, and I'm just sitting, I'm rocking back and forth, and I'm just like spitting in this bucket. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so bad. And I know I can't leave the circle. And I am going to give you a little bit of backstory about, so when I grew up in this very strong feminine home I had all these very strong females. It was like kind of very feminine, empowered home. And when I was 6 years old, within 2 years, I lost my mother, I lost my grandma, and I lost my aunt. So three most important people in my life got taken away.
Yes.
So I'm sitting in the circle. I'm feeling so sick, so nauseous. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm just panicking by now. And they're kind of halfway through this healing circle. And suddenly my mom is sitting in front of me. And I start bawling. And as soon as I start bawling, the nausea goes away. That was like the purge that couldn't come out. It's just like, and I feel good. And I talk to my mom, and we're talking. And one thing that kind of stands out that she said, she's like, "You're older than me now," which is like, oh my God. I put the numbers together. Oh my God, this year I'm older than her, which is wild. And then my aunt and my grandma's there too. So I'm like surrounded by them, and this healing, the shamans are coming closer to me, and I'm like, okay. And I asked all three of them, it's like, please join me for my healing.
Oh, beautiful.
And so when the shamans come up, and it's intense. I mean, it is, all this stuff is going on around you, and they put all this like oils on you, and it's intense, and I'm just bawling. I am just. It is all coming out, and it's like I feel like there's 100 people around me because I'm also surrounded by my females here, and that they're all joining me, and it's so intense. And I come after that. I mean, I come back to my bed, and I just like, what just happened? And I lie on my bed, and I have this realization that it's like I've merged with my soul. That was relatively easy. She was this beautiful little 3-year-old was just like bouncing around. And what I actually needed to connect with, though, was the 6-year-old girl who got broken. So I just sat with her and just allowed that little perfect being who all these years I thought of as not perfect because she was broken. So I sat with her, and I sat with my mom, and at some point I got up and I was like, we're gonna dance. And I just started dancing around the altar, and I was dancing with like the little 6-year-old me and my mom and my aunt, and it's like I basically kind of told my mom and my aunt, it's like, well, let me show you who I've become. It's like, so come on, join me. Because like I can't see them just get up and dance like a wild woman around an altar. I'm just like, no, you come with me. I mean, get that stick out your butt and join me in dancing. And I was just basically spent the rest of the night until the morning. I was just dancing around and just with my women. So it was so beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the kind of miracles that we can't even put a measure on how big it is. Like that will be changing your life forever.
Oh yeah, it's just a much deeper, like healing that happened.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, bless them. Oh my goodness. These are the miracles that happen. I'm sorry, I know you're right here, everyone. I'm just here. Is that the miracles that happen in overflow here are not that we can't name them. I doubt that you said when you were coming here, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Yet you came for other intentions, and that was the healing that came through you. And that's the power of being in a safe environment that's fully supported, that has structures that are holding you while you move through these. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, how beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, my dear.
Whew,
Yes.
So many. Just so many things happen through the journey of ayahuasca. I would say kind of the biggest takeaways and the biggest miracles. I came here thinking, what's next for me? What's next on this journey? And I really wanted I wanted someone to tell me. Like I really thought like someone, God, the divine, was going to tell me what was next in my purpose. Because I feel like I have been living my purpose, but I also feel like there has to be another purpose, or I just feel like there was a next. And I came here thinking someone was going to tell me that. What I got was healed like deeply to my core. What I learned was it's okay that I'm different. I had this experience in which I they call it, I guess, a consult. And I was talking with someone. Was it the divine? Was it myself? I'm not sure. But she basically held me and said, it's okay to be different. It's okay to want different things. It's okay to feel like you're different from your parents, from your sisters, from your friends, and it's okay. And it's like you come from this long line of different women, right? Like you come from this long line of agitators and folks that are willing to be different. And for the first time, I had to forgive myself for like trying to push down my differentness for so many years, like in being upset with myself because I was different and I wanted this different stuff and I was fiery and you talk too much and you are so aggressive and you're so this. And I had been really fighting with myself about that. And I had to apologize to myself. And I just cried and I cried and I cried. And then I had this experience in which my ancestors like stepped into my body. And like my grandmother was in me and I cried for her for all the times that she was shunned because she was different. My great grandmother stepped into my body and I cried for her, or she cried through me and we cried together for all the times that she was shunned because she was different. All the ways we shun women, you're not married, or you have a baby and you're not married, or you're this or you're that. And you're
two judgments.
Yeah, and I just had this deep final understanding that I'm okay, that I'm perfect, I'm whole. And ultimately what I came to is that I can do and be whatever I want. No one's going to tell me that. I'm going to tell myself that. And that's through meditation and thought. And I mean, at this point, if I want to go to medical school, I'll go to medical school. But I had this deep knowing that I'm perfect and that I'm so loved. So it was a lot of forgiving myself for any time in which I have treated or talked to myself in a way that did not fully embrace and uplift like all the good shit in me. Like just all the amazing shit in me. And I had this ending experience where I was in a womb. I don't know whose womb I was in, but I got out the womb. And then I was like, I want to get back in. And then my consult said, why? And I said, because it's safe in there. I don't have to make any decisions. I can just be in there.
Interesting.
And I don't know. They wouldn't let me get back in the womb. But last night, I guess it was last night, this morning.
You lose all track of time.
All track of time. I had this rebirth. I looked down and I saw myself on the ground, fully naked, in a ball, like I had just come out of a womb, but I was a full woman. And I was just looking around, like so confused. And I'm looking at this person looking around so confused. And I recognized, and at some point I jumped into that body and I couldn't talk. I was so confused. I was super thirsty, but I didn't have the words or the thought to understand what I was. I started crying and I kept saying to myself, you're going to do better. It's okay. Like I'm going to protect you. I promise you I'm going to protect you. And I just felt this overwhelming sense of freedom. And so when I finally had words, it's craziest crap ever. When I finally had words, that's what I said. I finally had words and I just remember repeating, I'm free. I'm free. Yes, I'm free. Wow. And I feel so incredibly free and so incredibly grateful to have had this experience. That's why I wanted to come on, because I was one of those people that was like, that's not for me. I don't know if that's for me.
Oh, my
It's not for me. That's weird. I'm
What's
not
the
that
answer to
type.
that question now?
It's for you. If you are,
Yeah.
I think
It's for you.
It's easy to say. It's like, oh, it's some woo-woo stuff.
Yes.
And I think the idea of ayahuasca often like scares people a little bit because of the purging and all that. And I think it's just, I mean, sometimes you just got to surrender to the process, right?
Well,
And
you know, you just said it. And it's the unknown. When we think
Yeah.
of
fear of
medicine and doing it in a room where we're all together, yet it is the safest place. We're not out in the jungle somewhere. It is the safest place, and yet we must get vulnerable because someone's right here and somebody's over there and someone's over there. And before you come to Rhythmia, you may not realize that the intimacy of your own little mattress is more than enough.
Yeah.
Right? That everyone's doing what they're doing in their own process, having these miracles that you two that could not have been explained before you came.
No. But I think it's so easy to be like, I would never do that. It's like if that's your mindset in life, it's very, very limiting.
Sure.
I would never. This word never is, I really learned over the years, that's such a stupid word to really use. I would never. Then you're setting yourself in this very, very small, limited box.
Yes.
So, and I think remove the word never and maybe be like, okay, how can I show up in life a little more open-minded? And
Yes.
Yeah.
So on that, what do you two feel with all of these such profound insights? What is life going to be like now when you're home? What do you feel that is going to be tangibly just changed for you? Just for you.
Well, I think having healed my heart is definitely a big one. I think it's also one of my show me what you've become. What my realization was. I think I came in with all these like, well, this is a problem and this is a problem, and I kind of came in with some understanding. I knew where it all came from. I knew it came from this break as a child, and I had this feeling. It's like there's certain things in my life that is there seemed to be a block, kind of like in like abundance wise, and I was kind of mostly focused on like financial abundance, and there seemed to be a fear of being left. I felt there was a fear of being left, which made it difficult for me to be vulnerable. And what it turned out, it's like what I had my little consult with the universe, my higher being, whatever it is, and it's said, it is like, no, it's all abundance. You don't trust abundance because you had so much abundance these first like 5 or 6 years of your life. And when I talk about abundance, it's like, oh no, it's all like abundance of love, abundance of attention, abundance of everything in life. You had so much abundance as a small child, and it was all taken away in a very short matter of time. So whenever you have abundance, and by the way, I have plenty of abundance in my life, and I'm strangely always been a very, very grateful human being, but I don't necessarily, I haven't been trusting abundance.
But that's going to change now, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, and that is definitely what is going to change in my life. It's like I'm going to allow myself to fully trust abundance.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And that changes life completely. That
Right.
changes
And I mean,
everything.
with your workshops, with all the
Right.
intentions and stuff, like setting your intentions. I mean, if you don't actually deep down trust abundance,
Correct.
any intention you're setting is not going to be real. It's not, you're not going
Right.
to feel it in here. So, yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right, my dear, how about for you? How's life going to be different when you?
So many ways. I'm taking away like such great knowledge, even from the women here. Like I got some great information from you. And I'm taking away, I feel like I have had this sense of like, I'm a martyr, right? Like, so I have to suffer so other folks don't have to suffer, right? I have to carry my family. I have to make sure my students are good. I have to make sure my staff is good. But I'm miserable in that, and I'm not putting myself and my needs first. I'm not practicing healthy habits that allow me to show up and not be miserable showing up, right? I think it's one thing to show up, and I've been showing up, and I show up, and I'm a hard worker. But how meaningful is it if you're really just mad when you show up, right? Like you can mask it, but people feel that energy.
I bet.
And so I'm taking away, honestly, putting myself first.
Mm.
And not in a, I'm better than you, I matter more than everyone else, but in a, if I don't show up for myself in an intentional, loving way, I can't really show up for other people in an intentional, loving way. So I'm taking away the knowledge that, number one, I can do anything I freaking want to do. But also I have to protect and love myself more.
Yeah.
And I have not been doing that in years. And it's not about.
But also something, it's like when you're teaching people, you're not, what I realized, especially with my children, is like, they're going to do what you do. I mean, you can speak words, but it's not going to go in if you're not
your
living that.
existence,
And
right,
I mean,
right.
I kind of had that when I got divorced. What made me get a divorce was looking at my two children and be like, okay, if they're in my relationship in 20 years, what would I want for them?
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that's what I want for them, I should want that for myself as well, because they are going to do exactly what I do.
Yes.
So when you show up with self-love and authenticity, that's what you're teaching to the world.
And that's what we create.
Right.
You call more of that forward. You call more abundance forward now that you're trusting it. You call more love forward now that you're knowing you're worthy to absolutely be the fullness of you wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Ladies, this is magnificent. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you in life now to know that. And that's, I'm super blessed that I get to observe that, hold space for that, and know that your lives shift when you go home. I see people 6 months, a year later, and they'll say to me, my life's never been the same. My life's been completely transformed and only more vibrant and brilliant, because it's like our wake-up call. You had your wake-up call, and I thank you for saying yes to it. I have one more question for you to tell everyone. I would love for you to say, if somebody's wondering, is it Rhythmia, like they love everything you've just said, and they're wondering, is Rhythmia really for me? And they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
Yes, it's for you. When I was trying to decide whether to come or not, I looked online and was looking at videos, and I didn't know if I felt like I saw people that looked like me and that lived the experiences that I lived. I now realize that despite the color, despite the gender, they did, with the group of people that I've met. It transcended all those outside things that we use to decide that's for them. That's not for me, that's for them. So my experiences really transcended that. And that's why I wanted to talk to you today. Yes, all I can say is yes, it's for you. If you are at a crossroads, or even before you get there, it's for you. It's for you. It's needed for you. And if you're being called, because I think it is a calling, everything I read kept saying it's a calling. And so that's why in my meditation, I was like, is something calling? Like, I promise you, I'm not booking this right now. I don't have time for this. I don't know if this is what I should do, but it just kept coming up. So
listen. She said yes. Nina, what would you say?
Yeah, I think definitely it's for everybody. If you feel there's got to be more to this, I need something in me needs to be healed. If you want to basically add to your life, I would say. It's absolutely for you, but I also think, I mean, it's a process of allowing yourself to surrender to this.
It's definitely a surrender, and we have to be willing.
Yes.
You know, anything that we're not willing to fully be present to, we're going to have blocks. So you both were willing. You know, I have to say this. Somebody asked me this morning at breakfast, Kim, what is it? You know, what age range of people do you see most at Rhythmia? And I thought about it. It's wide.
It's 18 to 80. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Literally this week.
Exactly.
You're right.
So whatever that is, there's, whether it's where you live. Someone asked me how's far the people come. I go, from all over the world.
Yeah.
So wherever you're at, please allow these two women who are so articulate and brilliant and authentic here. Thank you both so much. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for your week. allowed their sharings to touch you in the way that they just touched me. So that if it's your time and your yes, then come see us at Rhythmia. We're right here. We have a program ready for you. And I'd personally love to see you. And I will be in class every day. All right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And we'll see you soon. Ciao. Now I get to see if I could get